I'm Dan Cummins, and you are watching the Get Your Geek On podcast.
So
awesome.
All right, hey everybody, you guys are watching a very, very special edition of the Get Your Geek On podcast. I'm your host, Chuck Kiwacz.
I'm Robert Dokes.
And we are bringing you one of my favorite stand-up comedians on the planet. We've been pumping it for 2 weeks, guys. He is here with us live via Skype. Please welcome the ever-incredible Dan Cummins. Dan, thank you so much for joining us today, my friend.
That's nice, man. That's a hell of an intro. I appreciate that. No, I love the setup you guys got, man. I love the comics and the cards and the...
Thank you very much. We try to keep a little pieces from people that we've had on the show and then things that we acquire along the way. We change stuff out weekly. But, Dan, we are gigantic fans here. I know that your time is precious, so I'm going to jump right into things here. First of all, thank you so much for joining us on the show. But I just want to know, for those of us that are not necessarily the gigantic fans of yours, tell us a little bit how you got started into stand-up and how long you've been doing this.
Oh, man, I've been doing it a while. I just did an open mic randomly in 2000, so... Man, coming up on 18 years, back in August of 2000, and I was just trying different things. I wasn't like a big stand-up geek necessarily, just thought, why not? And it went well enough to come back, and yeah. Here I am.
So when you did your first set, did you kill or did you bomb?
I'd say somewhere in the middle. I would say by today's standards, hopefully like a bombed, pretty bad, but... by the standard of the room, it was just a lot of people who had never done it before. Like the bar was pretty low in Spokane, and most of the audience were old college friends of mine. So it was like a stacked crowd, and it went well enough comparatively for me to feel good.
Now, where do you really get the inspiration for your material? Is a lot of it based in real life, like your jury duty sketch, or is it more just improv?
Early on, it was more like weird stuff I would think about. It was more like sitting down with a notebook and thinking like, what would be a fun joke to write? And then as time went on, it just became real life. And whatever I was just like interesting experience, like the jury duty thing, if something extreme happens, I like to just turn it into a story. And then also just whatever I'm fixated on at the time. It's like lately I was trying to come up, my brand new stuff is more of a theme of I'm sick of the ignorance that's going on in 2018 when we have the most knowledge we've ever had as a species. Like the most access.
I love that.
Everyone has a smartphone that's more than a porn locator, and we still got people believing in a flat earth. It drives me crazy.
We make fun of the flat earthers here a lot. That was one of my favorite episodes of Timesuck, by the way. But Robert.
So the idea is like, how often do you work on new material and jokes? Because the idea is, I know that most people go through, when most comedians, they work on their jokes for a set, and then they maybe add a few occasionally into their current, whatever they're currently working on. And so how often do you go over that? Like when you had the Don't Kill the Bear, how long did that take you to develop that set?
Don't wake the bear.
Probably like 2 years for that one, as far. But what's interesting is like during that 2 years, I also worked on a lot of other things that didn't make it into that show that you kind of like put back on the shelf. And then the next time you start a new album, you go back and see what was kind of like the Isle of Misfit Toys. And then you pick a few from that to start off the next set. So it's kind of always kind of evolving in different ways, but like, it depends on how focused I am. Like right now, I developed the first 20, 30 minutes I'm doing on stage just in the last 2 months.
Yep.
But then I'll fine tune that for at least a year before I record that. So I would say it takes like 6 to 9 months of coming up with all the ideas, getting them to work pretty well on stage, and then another 3 to 6 months, or even longer sometimes, depending on what's going on in life, to really edit and hone it down.
Now, Dan, for those of you that don't know, I actually came into Dan back in his early days. Crazy with a capital F is actually where I first came into you. You looked completely different back then, by the way, and that's when you were still titling your jokes. But one of the things I love now is your new look. Your This Is Not Happening sketch is really where I dove back in, but the Timesuck Podcast is where I've become a gigantic fan. So for the fans that are listening here, tell us a little bit about how that came to be. Hail Nimrod.
Hail Nimrod. Hail Nimrod. Hail Lucifina as well. Timesuck just came out of... I tried some podcast ideas earlier on that were more like what I felt like I was supposed to do. Like get together with a few comics or interview or more traditional kind of things. And then that really wasn't working for me. It wasn't resonating with me. And I thought just like, well, what do I want to do? Like if somebody paid me to do any kind of podcast, what would it be? Like, what would be my passion? And I just like learning about new things. I would use it as a way of kind of procrastinating before Timesuck. Like I should be working on a script. I should be working on new jokes, but instead I'm researching, what went on with like Vlad the Impaler.
Now, one of the things I love, Dan, and this is a true compliment, you are the only podcast I listen to that it is just one person. Even here, we have 3 hosts, but we thought that's how you're supposed to do it, stuff like that. I love just listening to you ramble for 90 minutes into my ear holes. It's amazing. And one of the things that we love is all the different topics you cover. But tell us a little bit about what's next for you, for your stand-up, for the Timesuck podcast. Where are things going for you in 2018?
Well, it's been a busy year so far. It's been nice where... my whole career I've been trying to figure out how to get people to show up to the live shows, and Timesuck has really done that. So more and more people are showing up, and so I'm just trying to make Timesuck better. I'm in the little studio right now, one room of it, where I rented a spot, and we're trying to make it bigger and better. I built an app trying to make it more functions for users, more cool kind of side things. Developed a Secret Suck, which is like the tier premium podcasts. And so really this year is just like I'm trying to get better at all of that stuff while developing. Sorry for this.
Don't worry about it, man. Dude, we're honored just to have you here. Don't worry about it. We're obviously going to be posting for all the fans everywhere where you can find Dan the Timesuck Podcast. Follow him on Instagram as well. So we're going to post all your links there so you don't have to worry for that, Dan. But just tell us a little bit real quick about your most awkward fan encounter that you've had. Has it been a Timesucker or was it before you started the podcast?
Most awkward fan. Oh, I know what it was. It was this lady. It was way before. It was early on, where it was. Jesus, sorry. I have the most aggressive texter right now. I wish I could figure out how to keep Skype on, but it's like, dude, you don't have to send me 17 texts.
It's all good.
But it was this couple. It was the first time I'd ever really had a fan. I guess it was. I was doing these one-nighter shows in the Northwest in Nevada, where it's like bar gigs. And I did a show in Elko, Nevada at like whatever local hotel there. And it was some couple, they thought it was hilarious. They're like, oh, you got to come to Salt Lake City. You got to do a show there. They pester the club manager for like 2 years to get me into Salt Lake City. And they do. So I get there and then they show up. They watch a show. It's all fun. I'm just like thankful. I'm like, oh, that's great that you guys helped me get here. And everything's cool. Next time I come to Salt Lake City, maybe 9 months later, they want to have dinner. And so I was like, okay, that's just nice of them. So, they're like my parents' age. We have dinner. That's cool. But then they come to all 4 shows. And so then it gets like, that's kind of weird. Like you're watching 2 shows on Friday and 2 shows on Saturday. And then the next time I come back through town, now they want to take me out to dinner again. They introduce me to their daughter. And like, now
I'm sorry, what? So they introduce you to their dog?
Their daughter.
Oh, okay. I was like, I wanted to make sure. I was like, what? That is awkward.
They want me to fuck their dog. That got weird. That's when it got real weird. They wanted me to have sex with their pet. No, but they had like this grown daughter. So it's a little weird now. And then they start asking about my wife, and then they want to go on like vacation together. And I'm like, I don't know. And it starts just getting real weird. Okay. Real weird. Okay. And like they gave me some gifts, just like a random gift, like to take home. And then I kind of like trying to back and pull away. Well, so I don't tell them the next time I'm coming to Salt Lake City. Next time I come to Salt Lake City, I get there, show up to the club, and the lady of this couple is in the lobby crying.
What?
And she sees me in front of everybody else, and she says, "What did I do wrong?"
God. Oh, God.
Yeah, she's like, all right, so now I have to hide from these people. I cut off all contacts, and then I don't hear from them for like many years. And then all of a sudden, the husband shows back up, like just a couple years ago. And he basically lets me know that he's like the reason they haven't been around is he's been in jail, and no, not jail. He said prison, and I tell him like kind of like, well, what happened? Kitty porn.
Jesus.
He's been in kitty porn for several years, and then he still wants to hang out.
No. That's like nope.
Yeah, so I gotta say that takes the cake for that. We've asked that question probably 20 times. That is by far the best answer we've ever gotten.
Looking into his eyes about how pedophiles should be killed, and then he never talked to me again. So I think I'm done with that.
Okay, so Timesuck topic tease.
Yeah, what's to come in the future here from Timesuck?
Well, people are voting on things now on the app.
I love it. By the way, the app is incredible.
Oh, thanks, man. Before I just hopped on with you guys, I just recorded Ed Gein for Friday.
Yes!
That's the
Sorry,
Butcher of Plain.
Go ahead. I love the killer episodes. Those are my favorites. So,
dude, it's the creepiest one. Ed Gein is I didn't come away hating him like I did like Bundy or something, but he's just the creepiest. Little teaser for that. He would walk around the farm. This is the 1950s Wisconsin, little tiny rural Wisconsin. Walk around his farm wearing a suit made out of women's skin. Jesus. Creepy dude.
Very creepy.
Dude. So very creepy. Coming up after him on Monday is David Koresh and the Branch Davidians, the Waco compound siege.
Oh, well, you're basically going through our questions here.
I love it, man. It's incredible what you're doing with this show, man. But yes, that's definitely incredible. David Koresh, Ed Gein. I don't want to ask you to tease anything else because I want to save it for the Timesuckers. But I have to ask, just real quick before we get you out here with our speed round, now that you're running the Timesuck store, is there any chance we're ever going to see some of those infamous greeting cards?
You know what? It's on the list of the to-do list. Now that I finally am building the infrastructure, yeah, I don't know when, but eventually I have an artist in mind and everything I've gotten to know a lot of cool artists because of Timesuck, and I found the right person to do it. It's just a matter of carving out time to make it happen.
Awesome. So as we get you out of here, Dan, what we do with every one of our guests, we call it the Geek Speed Round, and we kind of tailor things to, this time we did it with your favorite podcast topics. So we're just going to give you 2 options, and you just pick one real quick, and we're going to rattle through these.
Okay.
So here we go. Cool. I'm going to start you off with Robert.
JFK or 9/11?
Ooh, JFK was more interesting to me.
JFK. All right. H.H. Holmes or Ted Bundy?
Ooh, H.H. Holmes.
Good answer.
Okay. Jonestown or Heaven's Gate?
Oh, man. Jonestown was more darkly fascinating. I mean, he turned it from a religious cult into a communist cult, and he was like sodomizing members and basically saying like, "You're welcome for the gift I'm giving you." It was beyond insane.
All right. The Zodiac or the Salem Witch Trials, which, by the way, we live 5 minutes away from Danvers and Salem, Massachusetts. We're right here in Beverly, so.
Salem Witch Trials may be my favorite episode of all time, man. That was so much fun to do because it was just so wackadoodle, where they were trying people in a court of law. Based on spectral evidence, which was basically dreams. You could have a dream about somebody where they were mean to you in your dream, and then they would be held accountable for that in court. It was bananas.
Absolutely incredible. The history of that is so crazy around here and so well embraced, even though it's so dark.
Yeah. Bojangles or Nimrod?
I got a sweet spot for Bojangles. He was the first character, and I love dogs. So the 3-legged, one-eyed mascot of the show is my favorite.
And then the last one out of here is actually a triple. So it's John Wayne Gacy, Jeffrey Dahmer, or Chikatilo.
You know, Chikatilo only because he's become this weird fan favorite character where I do stand-up shows now, and they will yell out for me to start talking as Chikatilo.
Yes.
So then I'll just do like, what is big deal? It's soft cock of shame. I bother no one. I want to do some wrestling, but first I tug on Chutoy soft cock and corner. No one see. It's so ridiculous that an impotent serial killer could become a fan favorite, but fuck it, whatever.
I can't believe you just did Chikatilo on my show. I can die happy. Snap my neck so I can die this happy. Holy crap. Well, Dan, I know you're a busy man, and I just want to say thank you so much. Before we get out of here, can you tell us fans where they can follow you and where you're performing next?
Yeah, let's see. So dancummins.tv or timesuckpodcast.com has all the social media links. And then coming up, actually it's sold out. This weekend's Detroit, but those shows are sold out. Minneapolis is in a few weeks, I think March 2nd and 3rd. There's some tickets left for stand-up. The podcast is sold out. And then Brea, California, Cleveland, Ohio, and then a bunch of the South coming up after that, like Nashville, Alabama, Georgia.
Are you coming out east sometime?
Yeah, you ever going to get to Boston?
Get over to the Northeast here?
I was just in Rhode Island a few weeks ago.
Yeah, in Chicopee.
I was in New York City Sunday night, and then we're working on Boston. I don't know, something happened with the Boston dates, but I'm trying to get some Boston dates. Boston is one of the best, historically, like one of the best towns for comedy in the country.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Stephen Wright.
Stephen Wright. He came out. Boston.
Yeah, Stephen
Bill Burr is my favorite of all time.
Stephen Wright, Dennis Leary, all those guys.
Yep. But and, and everybody shits on Dan Cook, but Dan Cook put out a lot of good albums. I think he came out of the Boston scene.
Yep.
You know,
Dan, I got to tell you, man, this is honestly a bucket list item for me. I am so honored to have had you on board.
You're honored.
Dude, this is mind-numbing to me. I'm going to go home and binge myself on some Timesuck, which all you guys need to listen to. But make sure you check out all Dan's links. Check him out live. Check out his Don't Wake the Bear special, his Pandora exclusive available albums. His new album is going to be dropping sometime this month that we're super excited about for Patreon. You can get him everywhere you want online. Dan Cummins, thank you so much, my friend. Make sure you check him out. And that's going to wrap things up for this week's episode of the Get Your Geek On podcast. I've been Chuck Kiwacz.
I'm Robert Dokes.
And you guys have yourselves a week.